There was a time where soul music wasn't just entertainment, it was emotion, pain, passion, and truth. During the golden age of harmony groups, few voices carried that emotion quite like the voices behind the dramatics. They wore sharp suits, moved with precision, and sang songs that touched hearts across America. But behind the spotlight, behind the harmonies, was man whose stories was rarely told in full. One of those men was an original member of the Dramatics, a performer who helped shape one of the most recognizable sounds in classic R&B. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Larry Demps. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. To understand Larry Demps, you have to understand Detroit. During the mid-20th century, Detroit was alive with music. The city produced raw talent at an unbelievable rate. Churches became training grounds for singers. Street corners became rehearsal spaces, and harmony groups became a way of life. Young people throughout Detroit dream of becoming stars, and Larry, he was one of them. Born on February 23rd, 1949 in Detroit, Michigan. Like many singers of his era, he was surrounded by gospel, doo-wop, rhythm and blues, and the growing influence of soul music. In 1964, Larry became part of a vocal group that would eventually be known as the Dramatics. The group was founded by Ron Banks, Larry Demps, Rod Davis, Elbert Wilkins, and Larry Reed. They was originally known as the Sensations, but changed their names to the Dynamics before settling on the Dramatics in 1965. The group developed a unique style that was built on tight harmonies, emotional performances, sharp choreography, and dramatic presentation. That presentation will become part of their identity. Their first release in 1965, titled Bingo, was recorded for Wingate Records.
The girl's got the wind in her hand. Bingo.
By 1967, MOTOWN absorbed the entire Golden Word operation, and the Dramatics moved to another local Detroit label, Sports Records, where they released and garnered their first minor hit single, All Because of You. Detroit was exploding musically. The city had become one of the centers of black music in America. Competition among vocal groups was intense. Every group wanted a record deal. Every singer wanted recognition. The Dramatics stood out because they combined classic harmony traditions with modern soul energy. Their sound carried sophistication, but also raw emotion. After becoming victims in the July 1967 Algiers motel incident that included the police unaliving the group's valet, Fred Temple, this tragic incident led to Reed and Davis leaving the group and being replaced by William W.G. Howard and Willie Ford. The Dramatics did sign a deal with Stax Records in 1968, but they moved on after an unsuccessful release. The 1969 Temptations inspired tune, Your Love Was Strange.
Came from nowhere, it was love. I was so thrilled with the new love.
However, producer Don Davis re-signed them to Vogue in 1971 after the group teamed up with Detroit writer and producer Tony Hester. They broke out with their first release single with Hester, What You See Is What You Get. The song peaked number 9 on the pop charts and number 3 on the R&B charts, also receiving a gold disc by the RIAA.
It's what you get. It's what you get. What you see, what you see.
Their members at this time was Ron Banks, W.G. Howard, Elbert Wilkins, Willie Ford, and Larry Demps. These 5 are often thought as the original Dramatics, although it's more accurate to call them the Classic 5, as only Banks, Demps, and Wilkins was part of the original lineup. This quintet is the 5 singers that the general public first got to know as the Dramatics. Shortly after the success of their first album, Howard and Wilkins left to form their own version of the Dramatics, which caused the group to go by Ron Banks and the Dramatics for some time. Howard and Wilkins was replaced by L.J. Reynolds and Lenny Mays. Through the 70s, the group continued to have successful songs, including the top 10 pop #1 hit, In the Rain,
Because of you, I'm crying. Don't want you to see me.
Hey You, Get Off My Mountain, that peaked #5 on the R&B charts,
So go and play your games with someone new.
Me and Mrs. Jones, that peaked #4 on the R&B charts, Be My Girl, that peaked #3 on the R&B charts,
Oh yeah.
and Shake It Well, that peaked #4 on the R&B charts.
Just for me.
In the Rain peaked #5 on the pop charts and was a second million seller. When the group signed with Capitol Records, they ran into some trouble. In 1982, the group released their first album without Don Davis. Only Banks, Ford, and Mays remained in the group, as L.J. Reynolds left to go solo in 1981. With success came pressure. Touring became non-stop. Performances night after night. Cities starts to blend together. The soul era dominated endurance. Groups traveled constantly, often facing exhaustion, financial struggles, and industry politics behind the scenes. Fans saw the glamour, but artists, they experienced the sacrifice. After going through this process for around 20 years, and keep in mind, starting when you were just a teenager, sometimes things run its course. And Larry, he decided to step away from the industry and pursue a career in teaching, and also, most importantly, spending more time with his family. Larry may not always have stood in the center of the spotlight, but his role is essential. Groups like the Dramatics depended on chemistry, balance, trust, and every member contributing to that vocal blend. Larry helped create that harmony structure, the stage presence, and the professionalism that the audience came to expect. History often remembers the lead voices, the stars in the front, but soul music was built by groups, brotherhoods, and teams. And Larry helped build one of the most important groups in soul music history. His contributions wasn't just musical, it was culture. He helped shape the sound of classic soul and helped create songs that still resonates decades later. He came from a generation where music meant everything, where harmony groups carried emotion through every note, where soul music spoke directly to real life. And although years have passed, that feeling remains, because true soul music never disappears. It survives in memory, melody, and feeling. And every time those harmonies play again, a part of Larry lives on, forever connected to the sound of the Dramatics. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song by the Dramatics that features Larry Demps? Before I go, I want to take a second to promote my Discord. Over here, I provide a safe space for my supporters. We discuss music of all genres. You can provide me feedback on recent uploads, etc. If that interests you, then go ahead and check me out. The link is in my bio. While I have y'all here, if you would like to support the channel further, then feel free to become a member. By doing so, you help make these videos possible. I thank each and every one of you who supported me along this journey.